Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Conscious Mind Tripping with me, your host, Audrey Newmont, author of the book that we're in the process of reading, The Mind Trip Game, Play Your Way to Conscious Thinking, and we are into the victimization loop. Are you tired of being a victim to circumstances? This is an opportunity to get out of it and get off the loop. So let's continue reading. Nick and I actually created this years ago. He created it and we added on to this. So this is actually, even at this point, it's even a bigger loop. So we'll read what we have for here, and I will be creating a video on this in the near future. So owning your power and taking responsibility. So if you're looking at the loop, you start with being a possible victim to things and depression, identifying your anger and your rage, recognizing I had some part in it, taking recognition. I am responsible. I am accountable. And then I take control. You're aware of your environment and you're creating your circumstances and moving into your powerful presence. So moving from victim to valuable. There's a strong tendency for people to not want to accept the blame for what has happened. It was someone else that caused this, certainly not me. I had nothing to do with it. They took advantage, they lied, they did whatever, and I was but a mere victim to the circumstances. I know this one very well. I spent many years being the victim in many crazy situations, and it's not fun. When I finally understood what I'm about to tell you, everything changed and I got off my dysfunctional victimization loop. To begin, it's you. Everything is always about you. Think about it. People will do what they do, and in the scheme of things, it always comes back to you. Consider all aspects of the victimization loop with compassion. This is a soul-searching process. And it takes all the consciousness you can muster to work through this with grace. Remember, you are changing the unhealthy beliefs and ideas. You are literally owning a new way of being. If you genuinely want to create change that'll move you in the right direction, you have to know why the past happened in the first place. You're the common denominator in all the situations that have happened to you. Sometimes it truly is that someone has done something to you. In this exercise, you're looking at your response, the attention you placed on the details, what actions you took in moving forward. In this process, you are recognizing your limiting beliefs to bring them to the surface for constructive change. So you see this picture here of the victimization loop. And when you're in the loop, there is limited perception, a sense of separation, and feeling powerless. When you are in your power, there is clear perception, connection, and you are feeling powerful. And these power statements that you would own in the I am, living in the now moment. I am focused on intention. I am owning power to choose. I am co-creating with source. I am creating solutions. I am loving my healthy life. So when you choose to take responsibility for your actions and choices, it makes it easier to let things go. You are owning your power to learn from your past unconscious choices and set the boundaries of what you will allow in the future. When you avoid the victimization loop, you make a choice point to use all the tools you gained. You hold a new space for yourself on the road. So here's your mind trip for getting off the loop. So you ponder these questions and remember, this is designed to help you move off the victimization loop and onto the freeway of your greatest dreams. If there is something that is still holding space in your heart and mind that doesn't feel good, maybe this exercise will help you dump the trunk and let it go. Remember, when you are taking responsibility for any of it, it doesn't make you wrong or bad. I'm going to read that again. Remember, when you are taking responsibility for any of it, it doesn't make you wrong or bad. Whatever we did in the past was with our old consciousness. This is to bring about a clean slate with new awareness and new choices. So, the choices that you made in the first place, you chose to be with them. You said yes to the job. You agreed to do that thing, whatever. The choices that kept you in this situation. You chose to stay, you chose to leave, you chose to ignore their behavior, you chose to give them more than enough chances, and so on. What you choose to do with regard to their actions. You chose not to say anything, say too much. You chose to let them do what you did not want them to do, and so on. So, did you communicate clearly and effectively? That's a big one. A lot of the time we didn't, and we didn't know better. So, it's important to really get that piece. Did you feel like there were no other options? Did you set your boundaries? Did you hold those boundaries? So, talking to myself and feeling down. When you find yourself having that negative self-talk about how things did not seem to go your way, or maybe people always do whatever they do to you, when you are thinking about anything that may make yourself feel or seem like the victim to your circumstances, be aware. That would be the time to remember that you have the power to change your circumstances in some way or another. It may not be exactly what you want at this very moment. It's okay. Line the car up and get in the direction you desire. Stay focused on driving on your conscious side of the road. Keep in mind that you are greater than your immediate body and that you do have a bubble of immunity. And what's this bubble of immunity? When I'm with my clients, there's a lot of times this comes up in conversation, the bubble of immunity. Well, now you've taken responsibility for your life and you're holding that space on the road. Consider creating a bubble of immunity for yourself. If you were to think of this with the car analogy, it's a force field that surrounds the car. It protects the car and you, the driver. For many of us, we drive a car daily. The heavy metal and airbags protect us from the elements and many kinds of danger for a good amount of the time. When you are creating your personal bubble of immunity, you are creating an energetic bubble around you and holding a space to be protected from other people's negativity. This is where you own a power statement that says, I'm immune to your negativity. It doesn't serve me. Or that's their business, not mine. Take time to think about what power statements would work for you. Hold that thought and imagine yourself in your bubble, immune to the chaos and negativity around you. To be clear, this does not mean that we ignore the world around us and think we're separate from other people. It means that we're choosing to be calm about what is going on around us, so that we can think clearly and focus on the solution. We aren't getting caught up in the problem or focused on what we can do that will move things in the direction of peace, compassion, abundance, love, cooperation, and so on. And I'm not saying that this is the easiest thing to do. It takes patience, practice, and perseverance. The more you use your bubble of immunity, the more life is on your terms and you create from your own feelings, thoughts, and intentions. You are not at the effect of the world. You create from your own center of your world. I want to say a little bit more about this. There's a lot of times where there is, let's just say, a storm going on around us. And at the moment, right now, there literally is a lot that's going on in the world that is confusing, it's concerning, and it is kind of scary. There's a lot of chaos happening. So, what we do when we're in the moment and we are creating that bubble of immunity, you're creating that element where you're recognizing, I see that there's a lot of chaos going around me. So, if you think of it like a hurricane, it's like there's this huge storm that's going and it's kicking things up, things are flying, and it is a lot. That's literally what's happening in the world right now. So if you think about it with a hurricane, there is a space in the middle of the hurricane where there is the eye of the storm. The eye is you being in that storm. And I was watching a news piece about a hurricane that they were looking at, and the guy was saying that there is life matter in the eye of this hurricane that they were looking at, and he was mentioning that it was birds that grouped together and they're flying in the eye of that hurricane. Why? Because it's calm. So when we see the hurricane that's going on around us, the storm that's going on around us, there's a part of it where you want to keep calm in the eye of the storm. So you keep checking yourself. Am I okay now? Yeah. Am I going to continue to be okay? I'm going to know that I'm continuing to be okay until I know otherwise. And I may never know otherwise. So when you're creating this bubble of immunity, there's a point to it where you're being in the moment. You're owning your power. So if it's other people, if it's a group of people, if it's the situations, you're continuing to hold your bubble of immunity and stay in the power to be calm in any given moment. You can do that. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do, but it is absolutely possible. I make a choice to do it on a fairly regular basis. So you have some practices to do with regard to staying off of the victimization loop. And I believe that we are in a mind trip for relationships. So this is about the victimization loop as well. So when you're looking at the diagram below, and then you ask yourself the questions. So in this diagram, when you're looking at it, it's these circles, and there's one big circle around it, and that is the circle that represents all that is, the universe, divine intelligence, God. That encompasses everything. And then in that circle, you have you, your individual presence with your bubble of immunity. So you are incorporated in all that is, but you are also holding your space in the world. And then you have your inner circle, your friends and family. You've got the world, the collective, the big picture. And with all of it, you can keep your attention on compassion, peace, love, grace, abundance, patience, forgiveness, all of these key things. So relationships have an impact. Notice where you are in relation to your own mental, emotional, and physical health, physical self, your divine intelligence, God, and the universe, your inner world, and then your inner circle, and the world. Is the environment around you working in your favor or against you? How much of what happens around you has an effect that takes you off your path of peace? These are questions you ask yourself. So you focus your attention on what you know to be true, the desired outcome, and on the solutions. I got a tickle in my throat. So we are complete for the victimization loop for now. Next, you're going to be the most valuable player. This is one of my favorite ones. So join me on the next episode. And thank you so much for reading along with me. I will catch up with you very soon.